Morning. Before we hear the first case, as those of you who were here yesterday know, this is the last week of sitting for 3 of my justices, and a custom which began 2 years ago when Justice Spina, then a senior justice, read a tribute to then Chief Justice Ireland is continued. Yesterday was Spina Day. Today is Justice Cordy Day. So let me read something on his behalf. Justice Cordy, what do you say about a Renaissance man who was born hundreds of years after the Renaissance? You met your wife, Peggy, on the rugby field. You began your legal career representing criminal defendants as a member of what was then called the Massachusetts Public Defender's Office. You then put on your eye shades and prosecuted tax cheaters for the Department of Revenue. You moved on to prosecute those engaged in public corruption, first as Associate General Counsel for the then nascent State Ethics Commission, and then as an Assistant U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts, eventually replacing Mark Wolf, later Judge Wolf, as chief of the Public Corruption Unit. You were a partner in 2 prominent Boston law firms, Burns & Levinson and McDermott, Will & Emery, both of which, miracle of miracles, still exist despite your departure. Between these 2 law firm stints, you served as legal counsel and trusted advisor to Governor William Weld. You somehow still found the time to be an adjunct professor of law, teaching first at Harvard Law School, where you received your law degree, and later at the New England School of Law, where you received an honorary degree. And I have yet to mention your extraordinary 15-year career as a justice of this court. I promised myself that I would forbear from mentioning that you were a starting offensive guard for the undefeated Dartmouth College football team in 1970, that not only won the Ivy League championship and the Lambert Trophy, but was ranked 14th in the country in Division I. And the record shall reflect that I adhered to that promise. In your day job of serving as a justice of this court, you write with elegance and clarity. You are both a great generalist and an expert in many subjects, from complex business disputes to cutting-edge topics in criminal law and procedure. You possess a command of and passion for the intricacies of the law. And every now and then an opinion has permitted you to articulate the importance of independent judiciary. For example, in a case establishing a judicial deliberative privilege, you relied on the words of John Adams, Chief Justice Lemuel Shaw, and others when you affirmed that judicial independence means freedom from every form of compulsion or pressure. Your sophisticated and nuanced understanding of the separation of power and of checks and balances has helped us to work effectively and cooperatively with the executive and legislative branches of government. Your work ethic can be described in 2 words, apparently indefatigable. As a new justice, I had the privilege of sitting next to Justice Cordy on the bench, and I still have that privilege today. I cannot express my feelings of inadequacy to glance over, then to my right, and see that Justice Cordy, with his illegible scrawl, had jotted notes not only on all the briefs, but he had copies of the key cases that were cited, and they too contained his scrawled notes. We are fortunate that you served as a justice on this court during the 4 years when this historic building was being renovated, because you bear a large share of the credit for the success of that renovation. You manifest your love of this courthouse in all of the countless tours you have given to attentive audiences. Regardless of whether they are students from Massachusetts schools or dignitaries visiting from around the world, you explain with the same infectious enthusiasm the direct line that led from the Magna Carta in 1215 to the Massachusetts Constitution of 1780, and articulate why the rule of law is the greatest protector of human freedom ever conceived. You have served not only as a justice of this court, but as an advocate of justice throughout the world. Through your work with the Judicial Advisory Board of the American Society of International Law, the United States State Department, and others, you have traveled far and wide to work with and eat with the judiciaries of many other nations who aspire to the rule of law and an independent judiciary. You have traveled to more countries than Marco Polo. And you have justly developed an extraordinary international network of friends, colleagues, and admirers. Closer to home, you have been a tireless advocate of increasing the public's understanding of the important work of the judicial branch of government through your longtime leadership of our Judiciary Media Committee. As chair of our Rules Committee, you have overseen changes in rules, practice, and procedure both in the courts and in the legal and judicial profession. You have played a key role in administering the many institutional and management reforms that ushered the court system into the 21st century, and you will continue in that role after your retirement as chair of the search committee that will embark on the formidable task of finding a worthy successor to Harry Spence after he retires as court administrator in April 2017. You are beloved by your colleagues, court staff, and your law clerks, some of which I believe are here today. It is a testament to your collaborative nature and mentorship that when asked to contribute to this dedication, current and former law clerks turned out in droves to share their cherished memories. They remarked that your steadfastly principled jurisprudence and your willingness to adapt your thinking as the case evolved are hallmarks of a superb justice. You leave a legacy of unwavering support of those around you, a genuine love of the law, and a grateful flock of Cordy Corner clerks spread around the Commonwealth and the country. They admire your energy and enthusiasm, are awed by your brilliance, appreciate your constant good humor and quick wit, and are delighted by the personal interests you take in everyone. You are unfailingly considerate and are a wonderful mentor and role model. We are so fortunate that you chose to spend 15 years of your wonderfully varied and successful legal career here at the Supreme Judicial Court. As someone who has known you as a friend and colleague and who has been blessed by your mentorship since I first joined you in the U.S. Attorney's Office in 1983, I am still in denial regarding your departure. Your dynamic presence on this court will be sorely missed. And now I invite all of those, I stay the usual decorum of this court and invite all of those who wish to stand and congratulate Justice Cordy on his career. And Mr. Cadilli, I understand that we have some cases to be heard. And